Touchdown, Alabama, let's get it.
The process, no one can stop this. Hottest show in the streets, I bet you can't top this. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer, come see how we rock this. Alabama fans the best, there's no way you can top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
The process.
Hey everyone, welcome back into The Process, Crimson Tide Recruiting. I am your host, Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine. As always, you guys can find me here every Tuesday and Thursday evening to break down the latest in Crimson Tide football recruiting news. If you're not subscribed to Touchdown Alabama on YouTube, go ahead, do that for me really quickly. Hit that subscribe button as always. Also be sure to leave a like whether you are subscribed or not. On today's episode of the show, I do want to discuss a couple of prospects in the 2022 recruiting class who will officially visit the University of Alabama during the later part of June. But before I get an opportunity to dive into where the Crimson Tide stand in their recruitment heading into those upcoming official visits, I do want to hit you guys with a couple of recent recruiting updates, starting with Isaiah Bund, a 3-star athlete out of Buford High School in Buford, Georgia, who recently announced a verbal commitment to the University of Florida. Although he is verbally committed to the Gators, he is a prospect I will still keep my eyes on because he still plans to take an official visit to the University of Alabama in June. The Crimson Tide currently like him at defensive back, but they have continued to leave the door open for him to possibly play wide receiver at the next level. So I will keep my eyes on the 3-star athlete out of Buford High School in Buford, Georgia. The Crimson Tide are also continuing to extend new offers. They recently extended an offer to a 2023 defensive end out of Eufaula High School in Eufaula, Alabama, and Apierre. He becomes one of the 2023 defensive line targets in the 2023 recruiting class who actually have offers from the University of Alabama and guys who are actually from the state as well. When you look at the state of Alabama, the recruits that are inside the state in that 2023 recruiting class, it is loaded with some impressive defensive line talent. And when you look at Apierre and you take a look at his film, you can definitely tell why the Crimson Tide extended an offer to this fast, athletic defensive end. He is one of those guys who makes this class for the state of Alabama so strong when it comes to the defensive line position. But those are the couple of recruiting updates I wanted to provide you guys with today. Now I am going to roll into the couple of guys I wanted to discuss on today's show. And the first prospect I want to talk about is a 4-star running back out of Pennsylvania in Nicholas Singleton, a prospect who Nick Saban actually offered himself a couple of months ago. And when Nick Saban offers a guy a little bit later in the recruitment process, you know that this is a prospect that he really likes. When we look at Singleton, he's a bigger running back. We can look at a guy who raised over 200 pounds, stands taller than 6'2", so he is a bigger running back who runs with a lot of strength along with an ability to break away in the open field. So I think he's a pretty balanced running back when you take a look at what he brings to the table. He currently has an official visit date set to the University of Alabama during the weekend of June 25th through the 27th. He will actually take a couple of different official visits during the month of June because he wants to announce a commitment during the month of July. Of course, the Crimson Tide want to add another running back to their 2022 recruiting class. They currently have a verbal commitment for 5-star running back and Geneva County product Emmanuel Henderson. So they wanted to add another weapon on with Nicholas Singleton. And when you look at Singleton's game in a way, the Crimson Tide have continued to recruit him. Their running backs coach Robert Gillespie has stayed in contact with Singleton as well over the last couple of months. He said he is excited to get down to Tuscaloosa. Gillespie is excited to get him to T-Town to show him what all they have to offer their future athletes. So Singleton is a running back target in the 2022 recruiting class for the Tide. I would definitely keep my eyes on, along with another guy from the state of Georgia in Amari Abar, a 4-star running back back who also visited Alabama this summer. He's another prospect to know when it comes to Alabama recruiting running backs here in this 2022 recruiting class. But I want to close out today's show by talking about a 5-star defensive end out of Duncanville High School in Duncanville, Texas. Of course, Alabama went into Duncanville High School last season and pulled out a monster linebacker in Kendrick Blackshear. They are looking to do the same with a very athletic defensive end and 5-star recruit Amari Abar out of Duncanville High School. As I said earlier, he has an official visit, they said, to University of Alabama during the same weekend at Singleton, as he will be on the campus from June 25th through the 27th. And I think this is a huge visit for the Crimson Tide. When you take a look at what Abar brings to the table, there's a lot to like. First, look at his size at 6'5", a long, lengthy defensive end who I think the Crimson Tide will play at outside linebacker. Use him the same way that you currently use Will Anderson and guys like Chris Allen because of that length, and also with his strength and the build that he possesses at 6'5" and 245 pounds. He has some speed to his game. With that frame, he also possesses some strength, has some athleticism, which helps out in that particular position as well. So he really fits the mold completely for what Alabama is looking for at that outside linebacker position. So Amari Abar's visit to Tuscaloosa during the month of June could be a huge visit for the Crimson Tide. He would be a huge get for any team in this 2022 recruiting class, and I am pretty sure the Crimson Tide really want him in their 2022 class because I think he really fits what they are looking for when it comes to that outside linebacker position. But those are the couple of guys I wanted to talk about today, guys to keep an eye on. Nicholas Singleton, a 4-star running back out of Pennsylvania who will be on campus from June 25th through the 27th, along with 5-star defensive end Amari Abar out of Duncanville High School in Duncanville, Texas, an athletic defensive end who brings a lot to the table. But that is going to wrap up this episode of the show. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Be sure to hit that subscribe button below. Also, be sure to leave a like whether you are subscribed or not. Then head over to touchdowналabama.com. Pick up your subscription today. With that subscription, you will get an opportunity to read all of our in-depth scouting reports on each Tide commit, each recruiting class. Also read all of our subscriber-only content. Also get your hands on our yearly print magazine issue. This year's issue is already out to some of our subscribers. In this issue, you get an opportunity to read how Mac Jones went from an underrated quarterback recruit to one of the top draft picks in the 2021 NFL draft. So go ahead, pick up your subscription today. Then head to the Google Play Store if you have an Android device. Download that Touchdown Alabama app so you can stay updated with breaking news notifications to your mobile device. If you have an Apple device, you can also download the app in the Apple App Store. So be sure to download that app so breaking news notifications can be sent to your mobile device at any time. As always, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I am Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine.